Well, I've been looking forward to doing this interview or this talk for quite a while. We are joined by Dr. Jenny Wu. She's the creator of Mind, Brain, Emotion, which has been sometimes called a card game, but sort of also a learning tool for children and actually older adults as well. So, first of all, Jenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Robert.
We had a little conversation about the idea of calling it a card game, and it's a good way for people to sort of at least picture what it's about. But it is so much more than that. Give us a sort of a quick overview of mind, brain, emotion.
Sure. Yeah. So, Mind Brain Emotion, I created a series of skill building games, but they're also mental health tools, as you alluded to, Robert. And they really help people, kids and adults, build bite sized skills, strategy, knowledge, and that confidence to be able to be good humans, whether you're a good human at home, at school, at work. And it's about being kind, being purposeful, and knowing, what is it that you need, your values, as well as those around you.
Yes, and I know that one of the things that really impressed me about it is that it so much deals with how people approach things, how people sort of evaluate situations and how they go about approaching it and confronting it and dealing with it. Um, how do the cards help? And how is that a good method for people to kind of develop that kind of mentality or that kind of approach?
Yeah, well, we know that to live a human life, it's not smooth sailing always, right? We are going to be encountering life's difficulties, obstacles, whether adulting journey or as a parent trying to pave the way and really be a good parent and enabling your kids to build these skills that will be responsible and resilient. And so the cards really do so by giving you these social situations, dilemma, and tools to be able to react adaptively, really in healthy, good habits, good manners to deal with life's difficulties.
Yeah, what kind of reminded me of flashcards in a way, because it really doesn't sort of tell you what to do. It sort of kind of helps people develop what's the best way for you to kind of develop that the right kind of approach, but also sort of always making sure that the approach is, with confidence or with some sort of I don't know, n- not so much that you must succeed, but that you approach it with the best way and the best chance to succeed, if not right there, but eventually, right?
Right, you're correct, Robert. And it's really a fine balance of scripting, really helping people understand, these are the recommended actions. This is what you need to do. Whereas, part of the reason why I developed the cards was because none of the resources are really one modern day, two affordable, and three culturally responsive as and communicating within AAPI community with different generations, different acculturations, it's very hard to relate and to simply put a scripted tool and things. And so the way the cards work and the flashcard component is that, yes, it's open-ended, it's culturally responsive so that you can tailor it to your specific context. But I did get people sort of asking me, well, what do I do? What if I don't know how to respond in this difficult situation? So I say that it's more than flashcard, more than conversation cards, and that the cards also come with an online learning library. And so literally each of the card topic has a facilitator guide, a more sort of evidence-based scripted version where it helps you and supports you into diving deeper than beyond what's on the card. And it also comes with skills assessments to really help people track their progress and understand where they're really at.
Can you give us just a quick example of like maybe the a card and how it works?
Yeah, so I would do a card out of the coping skills deck, which is one of the top bestsellers. And the 52 essential coping skills really sort of provides these situations, whether from a self-care, self-awareness, or self-management, or working with forgiveness, trauma, relationship based. And so one of the fun card is the brand of hashtag me. And so I make it very sort of hip and modernized, right? And so in this brand and hashtag me, you really think about who am I, right? And am I sort of consistent across the virtual world and the real life world? And what is it about my purpose and values that I want to communicate? And so that is sort of tailoring it to how you might respond to peer pressure, right? The sense of FOMO, and just in different situations. And so that one is tied to an online video exercise that I do, as well as part of the assessment and how you are coping in your everyday lives.
Interesting, interesting. I know that you have a long list of credits, and you and I talked earlier about how I didn't want to spend too much time because it can be very time consuming, and I did want to focus a lot on mind, brain, emotion. But I know that you were born in China and you grew up with relatives and then were reunited with your parents in Texas, and you're now a mom of three. How do all of those things sort of, I don't know, shape what you ended up kind of going through in terms of the direction you ended up choosing and the topics that you ended up focusing on?
Yeah, great question. It's really the culminations of my own struggles and experiences and sort of learning what makes the most impact. And so growing up in China, having, growing with my grandparents, not seeing my parents for 5 years, and then coming over to Houston, not knowing a word of alphabet or English and alphabet, and then reuniting with my parents, I think, that goes into our conversation of the coping skills of it's not about what you're dealing with, but rather how you respond to it and how you make the most of it. And so, I'm the first person in my family to graduate college. And yes, I have a lot of sort of credentials, but I joke around and say that it's because I wanted to get enough degrees so that my parents and grandparents could have their honorary degrees. Um, but really, I call myself the knowledge smuggler. I am all about smuggling evidence-based knowledge and really translating it in a way for everyone to enjoy.
Interesting. How do people get more information about mind, brain, emotion?
Sure. Tons of resources as well as the cards, mindbrainemotion.com. And I've got lots of free videos and tools through YouTube at Mind Brain Emotion and Instagram, which is Mind Brain Parenting.
I will say that if mind, brain, emotion works on principles that you developed, you're certainly a good case of showing how well they work. So, Dr. Jenny Wu, thank you so much for joining us. I hope to talk to you again in the future about this. There's so many different sort of categories that your program fits under. So we are glad to have you on the show now, but hope to have you more on in the future. Dr. Jenny Wu, thanks for joining us.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me, Robert.